I'm Katherine Bennett, 42, from suburban Minneapolis. I perfected family parties for years. Lists, timelines, quiet pride. Last summer, I built my sister's birthday for 30 guests. Gluten-free for Diane, sugar-free for Uncle Jack. Roasted chicken, rosemary singing in the oven. Gregory strung lights, Nathan folded napkins. By evening, the yard glowed like a movie. Laughter rose, glasses clinked, compliments floated past me. Then my parents stood, faces stiff as stone. "We took a vote," my mother said. "You're too controlling, no more cooking." My sister smirked, twisting the knife. "Honestly, no one even likes your food." 30 eyes pinned me to the floor. I smiled, hands shaking. I kept clearing plates. Have you ever faced something like this? Tell me in the comments. They thought they ended me that night, until the fallout began. I wasn't surprised that night. It wasn't the first time they made me feel small. Growing up, Susan was the golden child. I was the organizer, the fixer, the one who made things work. At birthdays, she'd get jewelry. I got kitchen sets and help mom duties. When she cried, they comforted her. When I cried, they said, "Don't make a scene." I learned early that love in our house came with conditions. By 15, I was cooking dinners while mom entertained guests. She'd brag about Susan's grades, never mine. Once I won a state art contest. Dad said, "That's nice," without looking up from his paper. But when Susan got third in debate, he posted about it for weeks. Every time, the same sting, like I was wallpaper in my own family. Still, I tried harder. Maybe if I hosted perfectly, they'd finally see me. I started taking over holidays, birthdays, anniversaries. They let me, of course. It made their lives easier. "Kathy handles everything," they'd say proudly. But never, "We appreciate her." Years later, when I married Gregory, even that was dismissed. Mom called him too quiet, and Dad said, "She could have aimed higher." At our wedding, Susan made a toast. "Here's to Kathy, who'll always find a way to make things complicated." Guests laughed. I smiled. My stomach twisted. Maybe that's why I kept hosting. To prove I wasn't complicated, just capable. Every table setting, every dish was a plea for recognition. But their praise always faded into silence. That silence became familiar, like background noise I couldn't escape. They called me controlling, but control was how I survived. If I didn't hold everything together, it would all fall apart. If I let go, maybe they'd forget I existed at all. They didn't just reject my food that night, they rejected me. After that birthday, I stopped answering their calls. Silence felt strange at first, like walking through an empty house. For years, I'd been their glue. Without me, everything started to crack. Weeks passed before Dad finally called. "We can't organize anything," he said. "Your mother's losing her mind." I wanted to say, "You did this to yourselves." But instead, I just said, "Ask Susan." He sighed, defeated. That silence on the line was my first taste of peace. I threw myself into my own world. Work, Nathan's soccer, quiet dinners with Gregory. It felt new, steady. No tension, no expectations. We laughed again, without performance. On weekends, I baked for fun, not duty. Brownies, pancakes, messy cupcakes Nathan loved to decorate. Gregory joked that my food finally tasted like happiness. Then one evening, I got a call from Mom. Her voice was sugar-sweet. "Kathy, your sister's in trouble." Turns out Susan's big investment fell apart. $10,000 gone. She couldn't pay off her debt and was refusing to plan their anniversary dinner. Mom's tone shifted, pleading, not proud. "We need your touch, sweetheart. You always make things perfect." I almost laughed. Perfect. The same word they'd used before throwing me out. Their need reeked of irony. They weren't calling because they missed me. They called because they were desperate. And desperation had never sounded so flattering. "Why me?" I asked. Dad jumped in. "Because no one brings people together like you." I gripped the counter, pulse steady. You said I was too controlling, I reminded them. Maybe Susan can handle it. Mom hesitated. We didn't mean that, Kathy. We were just frustrated, but I wasn't buying it. Nathan looked up from his homework, catching my eye. He nodded slowly, like saying, "Don't give in." Gregory whispered, "You don't owe them anything," and he was right. I'd spent a lifetime earning their approval, but they only noticed me when things fell apart. That night, I sent one text. "I'm not available. Good luck." No explanations, no guilt. For the first time, I felt powerful in my refusal. They could plan their perfect event without me. If you've ever been used until you broke, you know that silence afterward feels like freedom. They called it stubbornness. I called it healing. A month later, the gossip reached me through my niece, Claire. She was 20, quiet and observant. Her voice trembled on the phone. "Aunt Kathy, their anniversary dinner was a disaster." I leaned back, listening. She told me everything. The catering came late. Half the food was cold, the other half missing. Guests left early, mumbling excuses. Dad's speech fell flat. Mom snapped at a cousin for spilling wine. Susan hid in the kitchen, pretending to help. It was chaos, raw, embarrassing chaos. I didn't smile, but I felt something shift. For years, they'd relied on me to hold their world together. Now they finally saw what it looked like without me. Claire hesitated before saying, "Grandma posted about it online. She tagged you." I checked later, scrolling through her words. Some people are too selfish to show up for family. 30 likes. Susan had clicked one of them. I froze, my chest tightening. Selfish? After everything I'd done? After decades of cooking, cleaning, planning, holding? My coffee went cold as I read the comments. Some cousins agreed politely. But then, Claire's reply appeared like a spotlight. "Aunt Kathy doesn't owe anyone anything. You never appreciated her. Maybe look in the mirror." My eyes stung. For once, someone spoke the truth out loud. I wanted to thank her, but I didn't. Engaging would drag me back into their storm. Instead, I sat in silence, watching the thread grow. Mom didn't respond. Neither did Dad. Susan stayed invisible, probably nursing her ruined pride. That night, Gregory poured me a glass of wine. "To peace," he said softly. Nathan grinned. To Mom, the one who finally stopped fixing everyone else. We clinked glasses. For the first time, the sound didn't echo loneliness. It echoed freedom. Later, my phone buzzed with a new voicemail. Mom's voice was sharp. "You saw my post. We're disappointed, Kathy." I deleted it without listening twice. If you've ever walked away from people who never valued you, you know it's not cruelty, it's survival. Their chaos became my closure, and I didn't miss the noise. Top of form, bottom of form. Thanksgiving arrived with gray skies and cold air. I was setting the table for a quiet dinner, just Gregory, Nathan, and Claire. No chaos, no 30 guests, no forced smiles. Then my phone rang. Patricia. I let it go to voicemail, but curiosity won. Her voice cracked through the speaker. "Kathy, we're in trouble. Please call us back." Something in her tone was different. Fear, not pride. Minutes later, Robert called too. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Kathy," he began, voice heavy. "We're drowning in debt. 20,000. Medical bills, bad investments." I stayed silent, staring at the candlelight flickering on my table. He continued. "We need your help. Not just money, your dinners, your touch. You always brought us together." Patricia's voice chimed in, trembling. "We miss your warmth. Please, fix this. Fix this." The same words they'd used my whole life. I took a deep breath. "You told me I was controlling," I said quietly. "Remember? You voted me out of my own family." Patricia gasped. "That was a mistake, Kathy. We didn't mean it." I smiled without warmth. "Ask the people who voted that day." Then I hung up. My hands trembled, but not from weakness. It felt like closing a door that should have stayed shut years ago. Nathan looked up, watching me. "You okay, Mom?" I nodded, better than ever. Gregory reached for my hand, his thumb brushing mine. "You did the right thing." The next morning, another message appeared, this time from Mark. "I'm sorry," he wrote. "I should have stood up for you that night. Can we talk?" I read it twice, my chest tightening. Mark had been the only one I'd truly trusted, and his silence that night had been the deepest cut. I typed a reply, then deleted it. Some apologies come too late. Instead, I poured my energy into something real. At the Minneapolis Community Center, I organized a winter drive. Coats, scarves, blankets, everything to keep families warm. Claire joined me, sorting boxes and cracking jokes. "You're doing something real here," she said. Her words healed more than any apology ever could. On the day of the event, the center buzzed with laughter. Nathan helped carry donations, Gregory worked the grill outside, and Claire led kids through the aisles, handing out hats and gloves. One woman hugged me, whispering, "You're a blessing to this community." Her gratitude hit deeper than any family compliment I'd ever chased. When we got home, Gregory handed me a cup of tea. "Proud of you," he said softly. I smiled, watching the snow fall outside. In that silence, I realized I'd built a different kind of family, one chosen, not assigned. My phone buzzed again, another message from Mom. "We're falling apart, Kathy. Please, come home." I turned off the phone. The only home I needed was already here, surrounded by people who saw my worth. If you've ever walked away from a family that used your kindness, remember this: your peace is not betrayal. It's the beginning of freedom. They once called me controlling. Now they call me gone. Top of form. Bottom of form. By spring, the calls stopped. No more messages, no more guilt. Their silence was its own apology. I filled my days with what mattered. Morning walks with Gregory. Coffee dates with Lisa. Volunteer shifts at the community center. Nathan helped plan another kids' party. Claire showed up early, laughing as she hung balloons. The air smelled of frosting and purpose. I looked around the room that day, tables bright with cupcakes, kids grinning ear to ear. This was what love looked like, effort freely given, not demanded, not owed. When the event ended, Claire hugged me. "You've shown me what family really means," she said. Her words lingered like sunlight. Family wasn't about bloodlines or last names. It was about who shows up, who stays when the music stops, and who reminds you that you're enough. That night, we sat together, Gregory, Nathan, Claire, eating takeout on the couch, laughing over some silly movie. No perfect table settings, no performances. Just peace, just home. I used to think hosting made me whole. Now I know it only hid my loneliness. I don't need their approval anymore. I don't need to fix their broken parties. I built my own celebration, one built on truth, not tradition. So if you've ever been told you're too much or too controlling, remember this: maybe you were just surrounded by people who didn't deserve your care. Family isn't blood. It's love that stays. It's the ones who see you when others look away. If this story hit home, share your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe for more family drama stories, where justice finally finds its way. They silenced me once, but quiet women learn to roar.